10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, good evening and welcome back, folks. This is the 1 week review of the Oyster Perpetual 116000 36mm grape dial, or wine dial as it should actually be known. I like to call it the grape dial Oyster Perpetual, or GDOP as I've ended up calling it myself. This is not a sort of review, well, it is kind of a review, but it's not like a technical review. I'm not going to go in about what movement is it and what hairspring it's got and all this sort of thing. You know, I don't think you come to these type of channels to learn about these things, but how have I got on with it after a week of use? Well, pretty damn well. I am totally and utterly sure I've made the right decision here. The dial is just stunning. I mean, you know, a couple of people that watch the channel or I know via Facebook have actually seen the watch in person now and have all agreed that in person it looks a hell of a lot better than it does in a picture or on the Rolex website, or indeed even on the video. A friend of mine actually said he thought the dial was maroon in colour, which would indicate it's more red, but it's not. It's a wine colour. It's a nice sort of you know, well, that's a great look at it. You can see for yourself a beautiful sunburst dial. I did have a couple of questions sort of aimed at me about this watch. One of them was quickly, why didn't I get the blue dial with the markers at 12, 3 and 6 o'clock? Or sorry, the 3, 6, 9 markers. If the blue dial OP had just the indices like what this does, I would have maybe considered it. I didn't like the numbers on the dial though. Excuse me, I'm just going to go and reach for a glass of water here. Cheers. And by the way, that's my Seiko SKX in the background with the deck chair NATO strap on it. I've popped it on there to take a couple of pictures of it. But yeah, it's a nice nice piece. Have I any criticisms of it? One small one. This sort of plays with my OCD. And somebody pointed this out in the video. There's 7 links on one side, 5 links on the other. However, when you clasp it up, you notice that it sits absolutely true. What I will fiddle around with is that the fact that the inner clasp is, the inner part of the treble clasp is a third bigger than the actual outer part of the clasp. This in itself is not a problem as regards wearing it, but this happens because there's more links on one side. If I can get this in here right now, this side here, you can just see, if I can just get my wrist out of the way, the inner clasp. I mean, it sits on my hand nice and true, but what happens is, gets the focus, is that the outer side of the clasp, or the inner clasp, ends up chinking against this link here. That's pretty much the one complaint that I have. I will bugger about with it. Do you know what? I'm not going to bugger about with this bracelet. I'm going to take it back to the shop and get them and use their watchmaker to do it properly and just to make sure I don't scratch it, because right now it's still absolutely mint. It's funny because you think you get a scratch on these things and then you give it a little rub with a cloth, and then all of a sudden your scratch is just a bit of smeg that you've left on it or something. So yeah, so there you go, the beautiful dial. Right, now I had a couple of sort of questions, criticisms levelled at my way. I want to tell you the full story now. Just to answer a few critics, this video that I made, the unboxing video, was shared on the Archie Luxury channel, and somebody actually made the comment that buying this 36mm OP, I showed, quote, words to the effect of a lack of confidence in buying a proper Rolex, or words to that effect. I take it that this was probably levelled at me by somebody that owns a sports Rolex, probably the only Rolex they've ever fucking owned in their life, or the only watch indeed that they've ever owned in their life, and you know, thinks that I've sort of wimped out somehow in buying this. Well, I'm sorry, no, I don't go with that whatsoever. I bought the watch I wanted. I wanted this watch. I waited till I saw the Tudor North Flag and the 39mm OPs, and then I just reverted back to wanting this again. I'll tell you the exact story is this. I got a call from one of the authorised dealers in Edinburgh last Tuesday, to go and have a look at the Tudor North Flag. I went in there and they'd actually kept it aside for me. And I was like, for Christ's sake, lads, I didn't say I was going to buy this watch. I just wanted to have a look at it. So I looked at it. It's okay. It's very contemporary looking. The bracelet is to die for. The bracelet on that new North Flag is just fantastic. It really is. But I just thought, no, the yellow dial, the yellow power reserve indicators, maybe not quite for me. And I wanted to see the new 39mm OP. So I said, right, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to go away and, think about it. So anyway, I walked to the other authorised dealer in Edinburgh, and they had the new 39mm OP grape dial, this particular watch, and the 34mm in the window, all three of them sat together. So I went in the shop, tried the three of them on, and said, yep, the 39mm, it wears really big. And it's got the purple dial, but it's got the little red markers at 12, 3, 6, and 9, bright red. And it's just wrong. They have got a beautiful watch, and it's like having a beautiful sirloin steak dinner, and then somebody come along and pouring snot over it or spitting on it, right? It's just wrong. They're trying to be contemporary, and it just doesn't suit Rolex to be contemporary. They have iconic lines, and they need to keep them iconic. Rolex, just continue doing what you do, right? So I had a look at that. They've also got the blue dial with green markers. Blue and green should never be seen, Rolex. And of course the grey dial with the blue markers on it. And I just looked at it and I thought, no, you've ruined it. And it sat very large in my hand. I thought, no, the 36mm for me. I said to the lady in the shop, what about, a deal that I had in mind. Now, you get a bit of money. You don't get much off. Right, they don't like to advertise the fact, these ADs, that they give you anything at all, which is fair enough. And I sort of had a deal in mind, which was involved a little bit of store credit, and they weren't interested. So I thought, right, okay, fine, it's not to be. I then went to the dealer where I saw the Tudor North Flag, and I went in there and said, well, okay, what's with the 36mm you've got here then? Can you do me? I tell you what, I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, right? Because I owe the dealer that one, right? Because they come and go with me a little bit. I said, look, I've got X amount here for a deposit. Can you do me 150 quid a month over 18 months? Easily affordable for somebody who's just paid off a credit card, more than that a month. And they ummed and ahed and come back and said, yep, we can do that. That's fine. They didn't want to in the first place, but I explained to them, like, come on, this model's being superseded by a 39mm, and everyone's going to want a 39mm. I said to him, how many people have come in here this year and looked at that watch? I said, well, there was a chap in here a few months ago. I said, yeah, I know, it was fucking me. That's who it was in there a few months ago. So I went in there. We'd done a little bit of toing and froing, and I got a bit of it. I got the deal I wanted. I'm not going to miss the 150 a month. The deposit was, it wasn't the full retail. I didn't pay £3,600. I paid a bit less than that, but I certainly got nowhere near the fabled 30% off. So, yeah, that's it. The deal was done, and I come in with a Rolex on my wrist, and I am as happy as Larry. And it's funny, you do stride around with a little bit more confidence in you, because you're wearing a Rolex. And I now have to resist the temptation, or indeed embrace the temptation, to be a Rolex wearing wanker. There you go. Do you need any other watches than these, folks? There you go. A Seiko Beta watch and a nice Rolex dress watch. Okay, guys, I'm going to get off now. Thanks for watching again. Leave your comments below. I'll get back to you, as I always do. Okie dokie. Right. Cheers for the support, everybody, as well. Okay, guys. Thanks very much. Jerry.